Okay, now we are going to listen to Mr. Skosana. He's going to be talking about the same thing, about the privatization or anything like that. So now he's not going to hide anything. He's going to go straight to the point and tell them how he feels, okay? Now, and also, guys, I really, guys, don't know. Sometimes I want us to not pretend as if like maybe pretend because maybe we favor other people and then that's why we agree. Okay, let us just be honest to each other whether it is going to be a good thing to privatize or not a good thing to privatize. Okay, because one of the reasons that I heard, actually one of the white guys talking, he said that
and then just lastly a comment with regards to our colleagues about privatization. We tend to base our plans and our policies on evidence and science, not on emotion and the attachment to policies that have failed. And I think a very good example of why government should not be in the business of running airlines is based on the experience of British Airways, which was a state-owned airline until the middle 1980s, and since going private is one of the largest airlines in the world, largest and most successful airlines in the world. And this actually does have an impact on South Africans because one of the most profitable international routes in the world is Johannesburg to London. And at the moment, the state-owned South African Airways cannot offer you a seat, whereas two privately owned British airlines can, being Virgin and British Airways. So if that's an example of how successful a privately owned airline can be versus a not so successful state-owned airline, there you have the science and the evidence. Thanks.
One of the airlines actually that were privatized, I think it's another country that were privatized, it actually became the best airline, in the world, one of the best airlines in the world. Okay, why? Because after it was privatized, all right. And when you look at that, okay, but now the point here is, or the problem is, we don't want them to do it behind our backs. Okay, if we don't want it, they must accept it. All right, don't then force it to us. Don't force it to us. And when you bring these reasons of saying other countries, it's working, this airline is doing well and everything because of that, because of privatization. The thing is, people are doing it deliberately. They are fooling us. In other words, they are fooling us. They are making it look like it's not working. In other words, deliberately so, because they know if it is privatized, some people are going to benefit, because privatization, it benefits a few people. It benefits few people. It's not for the majority. It doesn't benefit any like guys. I don't know. Let's go to Babu Skosana Smozu today.
Executives of the different entities. Indeed, I'm going to start with the correspondence which I was sent yesterday night, and in fact, there was this issue of REF. The issue of REF, I'm going to start there, and I'm not going to mince my word again about it. There's no law which prohibits REF to take a decision to take AGSA to court. I want to make it clearly on that. There's nothing wrong with that, unless somebody has created his own laws in this country, which says AGSA is an alpha and omega institution. No one can question AXA. We can question any court, any magistrate, any judge in this country. The constitution allows us to do that. Unless there's a law which is hidden somewhere, which says, no ways, you can't take this institution to court. This institution is above reproach. Unless, Minister, somebody says that to some of us, to say there's this institution which are untouchable, like AGSA. The Audit General is not alpha and omega. Neither the SCA. We are told there's an apex court, a constitutional court, which all these matters has to go to if you are not happy. And the law allows that. The CEO, your CEO was here. He told us, and no one said anything different from what he told us, that he saved 24 billion, which was supposed to be paid to lawyers. And some of the lawyers were here. They were sitting at the back here. They approached us and said, but why are we against the issue that REF is paying lawyers money? They are claiming 25% of the victims' money. I mean, this issue of the victims being paid can be simplified by REF. They can come up with a one-pager or a two-pager. It should not be complicated and need litigation and need lawyers. If for poor people we are serious about saving the poor in this country, that can be done. And I'm not saying PMFA should not be followed. And no one said so in this committee. But for people to catch feelings about 10 million so-called lawyers' fees, and I can tell you, you know why people are quoting feelings? Because that money was paid to a black firm, a law firm. If it was worksmen, there won't be any issues here. I'm going to come to that 400 million which was paid to Weber and worksmen. There's no issues about that. But here on REF, we are talking about 10 million. When the institution saved 24 billion rand in 4 years.
Yeah.
Right? Let me go to PRASA. The PRASA issue as we speak here, Minister. PRASA took the matter to court. This issue of the locomotives is before court because PRASA asked for an independent engineer to determine whether it was value for money for them to pay Siangena. And unfortunately, the report from that independent engineer, which PRASA asked for and went to court in the High Court in Pretoria, the North High Court, the report was very clear that the money was value. The work which was done by Siangena was value for money. In fact, they're underpriced. Instead of charging 5+ billion rand, they charged 2.4 billion or so. Now, the system which was used, they call so speed gates. When you go into a station, there's this so-called speed gates. My colleagues who went there, I think they were demonstrated about what speed gate is, which ISAMS was were the project manager on that. And Siangena technology. Forget about this media thing. We are not on Twitter here. The good thing is that we are not on Twitter where people are talking anything they want to talk there. Talking facts. The engineer said the system was world class. The unit cost of that was supposed to be 5.5 million, but they charged 4.7 million rand. And I'm not sure whether if they pursue this, minister have a contingency plan to pay if this matter is going to end up in the highest court in the land. The state capture report, in fact, I'm not a proponent of the state capture because, it's for a particular elite group who are using that thing of state capture. We can debate that until tomorrow. As well, almost 11 review, this thing is on a review in the High Court. There's 11 people who took that. So for me, in fact, it's not binding. The report from the independent engineer proves that, I'm going to repeat that for the last time, that contract was value for money. In fact, as we speak here, PRASA went to court to ask the court to grant them for them to get those remaining locomotives. They want to use part of those locomotives. As we speak here, that issue of all trains was a gossip. They driven that narrative through the media, misleading the public, because they wanted us to believe about this state capture. They are using them as we speak now. As we speak here, they are using those so-called toll trains. And I'm not sure why the SIU went for the second a proclamation from the president. They're asking that.
Yeah,
Because the same PRASA is in court. They want to use those locomotives. I want my last question on PRASA. You remember, Minister, that there's a Kikibela which is 30%, which is supposed to be paid to the workers as well who are part of that Ubumbano. I'm not sure when did they last time were paid the dividends in the last 4 years, if you have that report, because they were supposed to be paid that money. Back to now to Transnet. I'll be quick, Chair. And just for me not to forget that the SCA has granted the Road Accident Fund a leave to appeal in the High Court. For that High Court ruling, claims by that the illegal foreigners must be paid. I'm sorry to just go back there before I forget. Now I'm on PRASA.
PRASA or Transnet? I think you said you're moving to Transnet.
Oh, Transnet. Yeah, you know, this thing are too many, Chair, you know? Given that the management only achieved 28% of the targets, what makes the minister to believe that there will be they can achieve the 190 million rand, the 190 million tons of 2025, 2026? As from 30 September 2024, what is the tonnage trend for the first 6 months? When you analyze what will be the tonnage in 2024, 2025, Transnet bought new cranes with twin lifts capacity in 2014, which can last for 20 years. 20 years. In fact, it's not even 20, it's 30 years. They were bought in 2014. It is not the cranes that are a problem. Is that Transnet has given people voluntary severance package who have the experience of how to run Transnet and who've got the expertise. They are out of the system. And they're in South Africa here.
Hey, nothing is impossible here.
Now, the National Treasurer, which was something which I don't know, I don't have an adjective, but let me say this quickly. It has exempted Transnet to report on irregular and wasteful and fruitless expenditure by the Minister Kodongwana. For me, the minister has reversed this unwarranted state of affairs.
Yeah.
As I'm asking to reverse this state of affairs. How do you do that when there's a criminal conduct and we are aware of? The group CEO, as we speak now, I think it's misleading to say he acted from August 2023. And so I'm not sure, and I'm not accepting that they alleged that she was there, you know, before 2023, but we are told he's being appointed now in 2024. She was an executive sitting on the executive committee of Transnet as a CEO of pipelines. So there's nothing new on that. My last one now will be I think now I have to come to SAA, am I right? I think that will be the last one. In fact, in all these state institutions, which used to be a part and parcel of the Department of Public Enterprise, the person who messed up this was Pravin Kokodan. I'm not going to mince my weight on that. And if I have to talk about Mandela, there's nothing which prevents me of talking about Pravin. I know some people are catching feelings. Mandela went to Carlton Center with Gavin Reilly when he announced Mandela to say you are no longer nationalizing the mines. after Harry Oppenheimer bought that Carlton Center shares.
Angry.
But that's another story for another day. We are in this because of Pravin Gordhan and Coleman Andrews, who sold our fleet in this country, and no consequences. The guy is sitting at home with our money. He sold our fleet, and what happened is that we have to lease those fleet back. SAA used to be one of the best run airlines in the country. But Colin Andrews put us where we are today. And what happened
Also,
for SAA to be in all these other institutions, the person who was responsible, who was overseeing this institution, unfortunately, it was supposed to be operational matters. I can see people are asking you to get involved on operational matters of the institution. I'll caution the minister, be careful, don't burn your fingers. Otherwise, it will be the next Pravin Gordhan. Thank you.
hey guys, I don't know, what do you think? Eh? This thing of privatization, it's making people angry, and it's getting people to fight. It's getting people to, it brings some feelings, But we all know, guys, some people, they want it privatized because they want to benefit, and other people, they want it not to be privatized because they are under the impression of, because I really also don't know if it's not privatized, who is going to benefit, if it's not privatized, if it is true, because sometimes we are told things we don't know for sure. Okay, if it is not privatized, I am under the impression or hope of saying maybe if it's not privatized, it might benefit more people than if it is privatized. And if it is privatized, chances are things might be expensive when it comes to transport and anything like that. Okay, but I might be wrong. Please, you can tell me in the comments. You can like the video, subscribe, and do the do. Sharp, sharp, you have a good day. Aha.